Welcome from the deep. I'm Mike.
I'm Ira Glass.
And this is going to be a very serious breakdown of the film Christmas.
Yeah.
Bloody Christmas.
That's the movie we should be getting intense about.
Okay, look, I know that this might not be the most academic film ever made, okay?
It's not. It's not close.
I mean, okay, but it's not the least academic film ever made.
Okay, first of all, I've got a cold right now, so I'm going to be coughing a lot. Luckily, I've got a mute button. Second of all, it might be academic. Okay. Academic. You're over here. I keep forgetting the camera's here. Academic?
We had to take it down, but we did watch The Driller Killer together, and that's up there. Is all I'm saying.
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to end up talking quite a bit of shit about this movie. But in my notes, I've got some positives actually, because spoiler, I didn't like this. I didn't like this movie.
So I am curious to hear why, but first we need to go over just a little bit of housekeeping. If you don't want to hear this, skip to, I'll put it here right now, the timestamp of where you can skip to just get to the movie review. But there's something I want to talk about here for just a second. Brett and I have been talking about what we're going to do with this channel and what we're going to do going forward, because I don't know if you've noticed, if you're a longtime viewer of ours, we have not been the most consistent recently. And we've been trying to figure out ways around that.
You run a channel with a neurodivergent brain and tell me how it turns out.
I do that, and it's hard to do it twice. So here's the thing. Like, we've talked about how we're going to move forward with this channel and try to be consistent. We've come up with a bunch of different ways to do that. But what that's going to mean is maybe the first month or so of January, we're probably not going to be around. But after that, I think we should start popping up a little bit more consistently. And I just wanted to acknowledge that that's about to happen, because this is the first video we've made in a while. And we are then going to make maybe one more by the end of this year. And then we'll disappear again for January. And then we're going to come back on a regular, consistent basis. So do you have anything you want to add to that?
I do, actually. The idea, it's not a matter of like taking time off. It's a matter of diverting time to make a more robust channel. If that makes any sense. The idea is to allow our beautiful faces and voices to be enjoyed on a more regular basis, because we know you miss us. We know you do. You can't say you don't. And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. Baby, we are here for you. And we want to be here for you. Isn't that right, Mike? Sweetie.
Not even a little bit. And don't call me sweetie. So it'll never help us beat the allegations. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to review. Okay. I'm definitely cutting that. Holy, way too far. Way too far. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to review Christmas, Bloody Christmas the way we usually do it. We might make one more this year. I don't really know. Maybe two. Who knows? We've got a couple weeks left out of this year, so we might do one more this year, and then we'll disappear for January. We'll come back beginning to mid-February, I would imagine, and we'll be more consistent with it. So, with all that out of the way, let's just get around to this. Christmas, Bloody Christmas. This was a Mike pick. Obviously, I don't know if that's obvious or not. I do not own this. This is one I've been meaning to buy.
That is fucking shocking.
Yes, this is one I've been meaning to buy, but I have not gotten around to it. This came out in 2022, I believe, and this is a Shudder exclusive, I think. But I do think that there is a physical release of it. I could be wrong there. But do you want to go ahead and give us a synopsis of Christmas, Bloody Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas, Bloody Christmas is about a deranged android mall Santa who goes on a rampage and hunts down some of the most banal human beings I've ever seen on a fucking screen.
Yeah, so I remembered this movie being really heavy in the pretentious metal area.
Dude.
It was like amplified. Knowing that you watched this, I knew how fucking annoyed you were going to be at the whole like first 30 minutes of this movie.
Dude, I have in my notes, hang on, because I have to do this.
It was just amplified knowing that I knew when you watched this, you were just seething over the dialogue and all of it.
Dude, it was like the first. Okay, so full disclosure, this is not my first time watching this. The first time I watched it was with you.
I think
and
we
the
watched
second
it
time,
the year it came out in 2022.
Yeah. The second time, i.e., now, was because of you. So at no point in my life have I ever watched this free of my own.
I forgot we had watched that together before.
We're just gonna go through a couple points here. Point one. I forgot how unbearably mindless their opening conversation is and how out of place the music is in this walking scene. First of all, the music's out of place through the whole thing. Not one scene is allowed to speak for itself.
Dude, there's a moment at the peak of this movie where the only way whoever scored this knew how to build tension was because they had made electronic music before.
Yeah.
And so they were using the kick build that you would use in a build section to build like anxiety in the movie, and it didn't work at all.
Yeah, quarter notes, 16th notes, 32nd notes, 64th notes. Yes. Yeah. The second note about the dialogue. This dialogue is infuriatingly bad, and absolutely nothing has happened almost 20 minutes in. Let's see. This is actually a good, like a good progression of how. Hang
on. Before we get all into the reviews and stuff here, I do want to talk about that because the first 20 minutes of this movie. Here's the thing. First of all, let's go through what IMDb says because we didn't do that. Christmas Bloody Christmas from 2022. It's an hour and 26 minutes, which plays into what you were just talking about there.
Which got the most punchable face.
I do want to get back to.
Her face is so punchable. Look at that.
IMDb's
No, that is. I have seen that face on so many high school parties of somebody trying to convince you of the conspiracy theory they believe in. Like, no, dude, you don't fucking get it. Sorry, continue. I hate
about this.
Her.
Face here.
Yeah.
So the one sentence synopsis is it's Christmas Eve and Tori just wants to get drunk and party. But when a robotic Santa Claus in a nearby toy store goes haywire and begins a rampant killing spree through her small town, she's forced into a battle for survival.
It's not much of a battle. Her whole thing is a retreat.
It's also a very poorly written summary. So here's the thing, guys. This is low budget, okay? This is not Halloween. This is low budget trash. So I think going into this with the expectations of it being sort of low budget trash, not to mention the director whom you brought up to me over a phone call. And I would like you to go into what you found from director Joe Begos, because this is somebody, I believe he's the neighbor that gets killed in the beginning.
Yes. Yeah, the guy that gets his car smashed into.
Yeah.
Not at the beginning. It's toward
the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. He is first of all, he doesn't like writing. Found that out. He doesn't like writing, so I don't know why he's writing
everything
because he's not good at it. I found out that bad writing, neon lighting, and gore are his thing. He does gore very well.
Dude, the practical effects, the way this is shot, good. The way his head gets split in half with the axe, all really good. Yeah. Really great.
I will say this though. The motherfucker needs to stop writing. He's not good at it. This is a guy who uses the word fuck like it's a punctuation mark. It's not. He writes characters the way Taylor Sheridan writes female characters. And if you don't know who Taylor Sheridan is, he did Landman, he did Yellowstone, and all of his female characters are written atrociously. I've got to give, what's his name again?
Joe
Begos. Begos. Wow, that's similar to Bezos, but okay.
There you go.
I will give him this. The guy loves horror. And you just can't deny that the motherfucker loves horror. He does not write well, but he makes fun horror. This is where the tearing moment comes in for me, is because watching these characters tumble through the moments that are happening, watching them like go through these events and handle them horribly, was all infuriating. Listening to them speak was mind-numbing. I wanted to flay myself if it would mean getting them to shut the fuck up. But what he can do is make a fun horror movie that you can skip the first 25 minutes of.
Yeah, so I think this is a symptom of somebody being a really big fan of somebody like Tarantino, but not having the writing chops to be able to pull it off.
Right.
This is somebody that wants to be able to write that level of dialogue. And like everything else, I don't think you get to that level of dialogue without failing at it first. This is a very low stakes movie for experimentation in that way.
Sure. Yeah.
I agree. It doesn't really work. And I like this movie a lot more than you do, I think, but I don't think it works in this film. Here's the problem. And we're going to get into spoilers just because there's not a whole lot to spoil, and B, this has been out a few years, and C, it's kind of the only way to say this. We spend the first 25 minutes or so, and this goes into back what you were saying about him not being that great at writing, and maybe, as you say, he's self-confessed that he doesn't like to write. But we spend 26 minutes or so getting to know Tori and whatever poor guy's name is.
Robbie.
So he ends up just being sort of killed anyway.
Yep.
And so it sort of renders the whole first 26 minutes of this movie obsolete.
No,
pretty early, pretty fucking early.
Can I stop you there? Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
It's not, all of his stuff isn't obsolete because we get to hear how much Tori thinks of herself, and she lives.
Well, and this goes back to, there's a lot of tropes in this film. But he's also actively working against other tropes too, like the final girl. She is not what I would consider likable. She is not a virgin.
Oh my God,
she's
dude.
not like the good girl. She makes poor decisions. She somehow owns a record store. We're not really, I don't know how she got to that level of
daddy
ability or power. But anyway, regardless,
it's killing me.
Regardless, here's my thing, dude. The first 26 minutes, fine. I'm willing to put up with it because I think the back half of this movie fucks hard. But
so does Tori.
But here's the thing. Here's the difference. It also has a major issue with her sort of being the only person that he's chasing for most of this movie. He kills off so many people so fucking early and sort of haphazardly. Right when Santa breaks into the house, the next door neighbor's house, he starts going crazy. And that's very fucking cool. But what it ends up meaning for the last half hour or so is she defeats him, he comes back. She defeats him, he comes back.
Oh my God.
She defeats him, he comes back.
You.
She finally defeats him. And that is the real problem with this movie. I can live with the shitty metal dialogue at the beginning if it means that the back half is really refined and there's a reason for all of it. But the reason gets killed with him dying so early that there's no tension with her killing and him coming back and killing and him coming back. None of it means anything. A, because it happens so much, and B, because everyone else is already fucking dead. So that's the biggest issue I have with this.
My theory is that they had to kill him over and over and over again strictly for the runtime.
Yeah,
I really-
and it's the
I
only
really-
real way
I
to show
really
off
do-
the robot toward the
Say
end.
that again. Sorry. Say that again.
That, and it's really the only way that they can build toward him being a walking Terminator toward the end.
Dude, well, that's the thing is, you could have accomplished that with the fucking ambulance blowing up.
Yeah.
And by the way, speaking of the ambulance, how the fuck does Robbie's car break down by rear-ending somebody, but this ambulance is a Sherman tank on the German fucking front lines? Like, what is happening there?
But with all of that out of the way, like I said earlier, this is low.
No.
Hang
I
on.
asked you a question, motherfucker. What is happening?
This is low budget trash, and you have to go in to movies like this with those expectations, because if we go in asking logical reasoning for stuff like this, it all falls the fuck apart anyway, because nobody would ever. The thing is like it feels like he saw Small Soldiers. That's what the premise of this reminds me of. Because they're military chips in toys. I feel like he saw that and when I could do that, but with a slasher. And admittedly, that is a super dope idea. And like I said, the back half of this movie is fucking awesome. I think it's really, really fucking cool. But it just has this issue with runtime that he's obsessed with getting to almost 90 minutes. He doesn't even hit the full 90 fucking minutes.
Was it 87?
It's 87, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason that first half drags and there's so much dialogue is he's trying to fill the runtime. The reason the thing keeps dying and coming back is he's trying to fill the runtime. It just, that problem persists throughout the entire movie, and it's so glaringly obvious it's hard to look past.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good.
I was just going to say, I think that more than anything is the biggest thing that holds this back. If this was 70 minutes, maybe you cut a full 20 minutes off this, like 10 minutes off the front half, 10 minutes off the back half. You could probably leave the middle, like right around where it is, cut a few things here and there. But I think it would make for a much more streamlined film overall. But I think he really probably wanted, in theory, for this to be theatrical.
Well, yeah.
So,
I mean, how else the festival's going to pick it up?
right. So I don't know. Tell me what you think, because you hated this based off your fucking reactions here.
I did. It's not fair, man. Because like I said, like by the end of it, but by the time I got towards the end, I'm sitting here like I was fuming. I yelled "God damn it, Mike" more than a couple times while watching this fucking movie, and it's because the writing is so bad, dude. It's so bad, and I can't. I fault him for his bad writing the same way I fault Taylor Sheridan for his bad writing, because, and I keep bringing Taylor Sheridan up because Taylor Sheridan is the pinnacle of what's wrong with a writer when it's like, you're bad at doing this. You don't know how to do, Taylor Sheridan doesn't know how to write women. And let's face it, if you've watched Landman or any of these other shows he's come up with, you also know he doesn't know how to write women. Taylor Sheridan knows he doesn't know how to write women, and yet he refuses to collaborate with other people because, let's face it, he's a bit of a cunt. And I'm not saying Joe Begos or Begos or whatever is a cunt. He doesn't seem like he is, but we all have our lanes to stick in. Like the movies I've worked on, there's a reason why, like I was on camera on a student short film 4 years ago. And I'm not going to tell you which one it was because it was awful. And so it's knowing your lane and getting the people involved to pick up the slack in the lanes you don't want to be in. With that said, though, when you've got the budget that he's working with, you might not have that. And that's why I said, regardless of whatever issues I have with this movie, which is pretty much everything, we haven't even gotten to the neon lighting yet, which we're going to fucking talk about the neon lighting because I'm so goddamn tired of it. But
I knew you were going to hate that. It's not practical at all. Every poster has neon around it. Every poster
has
a problem.
he finds these ways to sandwich the music in, like in the bar where it's like, oh, we're gonna do a jukebox. Like, oh, great, now he has an on-screen reason to have the music in there, and I can't complain about it. And we all know I love to fucking complain. But by the end of this movie, I took away one thing, and that was that Joe Begos, whatever, loves horror. You can't take that away from him.
Well, that's because, dude, the slasher parts of it are, regardless of lighting, the lighting is not there to be practical, and you can tell he's probably a big fan of Dario Argento and people like that. It doesn't necessarily need to be practical. It's just because I see what he's going for, but it's just unfortunate that it's been done to death, and so now it feels
it's derivative,
a little derivative and forced. Yeah,
and that's the problem with this movie is almost everything good about it, or that could be good. Let me rephrase it: well crafted, because the neon lighting is well crafted.
Yeah,
it's overused. It's nauseatingly abundant.
Atmosphere for days. But
it's derivative. The only thing that's not derivative are the characters, and somehow they're still fucking terrible. Like,
that's the thing about the writing and those characters specifically is the problem with the amount of shit we're talking about with them is that it really. I was thinking this when I watched this. I've watched this at least once a year since this came out. So this is my third time seeing this, I think. I think that what he was going for is some of the most relatable, because most of the time the tropes are jock, cheerleader, loner, stoner, like all of that stuff. And that is not in this. And for better or for worse, I think that the characters in this do feel like real people. Jonah Ray is kind of that person. Jonah Ray is the guy that gets split in half. The first guy that gets split in half.
The cokehead. Yes, cocaine.
I can't remember. Does he?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
You don't have to look it up. I'm correct.
Okay. I believe you.
No, you don't.
No, I do. I believe you. Regardless. So I don't know. I think that the characters in this are well-intentioned and pretty relatable. Especially for being pretentious late teen, early to mid 20s.
I was going to say they're relatable in the worst way because I knew these kids in high school.
We were those kids in high school.
I was really trying to avoid that.
We were. Yes, there's no other way to say it. We were. And that is why you hate them so much. And this comes up over and over again in these movies when we see characters like this that we used to be like, you. And I knew watching it this time, this is why I said this, that you were just seething watching the first 25 30 minutes
the whole time I'm sitting there going like, bro, turn the music down and shut the fuck up. That they did so much of the beginning of this it did. I didn't think about it, but you're right. It did. It reminded me of me as a kid. And I have told you many, many times, if I could go back to who I was as a teenager, I'd beat the fucking hell out of him and just let him know, like, you don't know everything. Everything you listen to isn't great, and everything you do is pretty terrible.
There's a meme where it's like, the teenage me would be so proud of how far we've come, and there's a meme in retort to that that says, "I'm not here to impress a mentally ill child." So this is a symptom of that. This is clearly a guy that never got out of that headspace, and I'm not saying that that's bad. It's just we are not in that headspace anymore. So
right.
Seeing people still obsessed with records and stuff like that, while I love music, I am not teenage level obsessed the way I was when I was 15, 16, 17 years old. So it just feels weird to see almost 30-year-olds talking like that. And then on top of that, she's just sort of the fucking worst. And he's not that great either. He's unlikable too, but at least he's he's well written. She's not so much.
Well, dude, and like I said,
She is sorry.
I
to
use
cut
the
you
word.
off. Hang on. She is
Go ahead.
very clearly written by a man.
Yes.
Like, this is the total chick, bro. Like, I wrote the perfect metal chick, bro. She knows
Right.
it all.
Right? Yeah, yeah. like this is the scene girl I wish I had.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, she's written terribly, but dude, that's the thing. The performances are actually really good. The with the script, I have to read it off of my notes because I feel like I put it. Where is it? Hang on. So sorry. Okay, so first of all, I wrote, if Jeff Bezos put the slightest amount of effort into the characters, you might actually have something worth your time. There are so many Christmas horror movies that are actually worth sitting down for, and this is not one of them. I do have to say that. Here's where it comes into what I was talking about with the acting. And him as a director, actually. The acting and the directing are actually great. He did direct the fuck out of this movie.
And I was going to say that earlier when you were talking about his writing. His writing is not great, but dude, the directing, if he could partner with somebody that could really write the fuck out of something, he'd be fucking unstoppable, man.
So what I said is the acting and directing are actually fucking great. But the writing, the neon lighting, and overwhelming soundtrack completely ruin what could otherwise have been something I found myself enjoying. And that I still stand by now, being able to, because, you know, sometimes you write things down and you give it a day or two. And it honestly, writing reviews for me is a lot like drunk texting, where it's like, okay, I wrote this. Luckily, it's not going out to anybody, because if it had, I'd be going, oops, my bad. Like that's what a lot of these are, because by the end of it,
it's kind of the problem with Letterboxd reviewing in general, because you're like, I'm gonna log this, and then you read it back like 3 days later, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And like I don't want to be an asshole, because like we've said many times, these are real people pouring their hearts into this shit.
And you could tell he loves it. He's genuinely a fan, and this is the type of people we need making horror.
But I feel like he could do with a good collaboration. Like if he could just honestly do the neon lighting, the soundtrack, he's got to get rid of whoever's doing his fucking soundtracks, because it's the music is overwhelming. It overpowers every scene. It's in every scene. Not one scene in this movie is allowed to just speak for itself. Yeah. And so many scenes could have dealt with that. Like when they see him across the street and there's music playing in the background, fucking cut that shit out and let the tension speak for itself. But all of that could be mitigated so immensely by having a good writer. But I think the biggest problem there, I saw an interview with Billy Bob Thornton recently, when he was trying to break into Hollywood. And one of the producers he met basically told him, you're too ugly to be a leading man and you're too pretty to be a character actor. And Billy Bob Thornton asked him, well, how do I break in? And the guy told him, start writing your own stories. And that's where I kind of have to back off of bashing on Joe quite a bit. I call him Joe now, by the way. That's why I have to kind of back off on him. Is this might be the only way he gets his stuff made. And dude, I can't hate on somebody for that.
Like I said, he's failing in front of people. And that, more importantly,
takes a lot of balls.
Dude, it does. Especially when you put at the very end, written, directed, and catered by Jay Sherman. No, but
Jay Sherman.
For real.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
For real though, like it took a lot of balls to make this. He directed the crap out of it. I think whoever lit this could probably watch more Argento, maybe like more, and see how he's actually doing it instead of a red bar would be cool here.
Less blue and magenta.
So I don't know. Give me your final thoughts and ratings on this, because I think that we've talked about pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Do you have anything else before we get into that?
No, not really. Okay. I think I'm going to end this with my Letterboxd review.
I'm going to do the same, but mine's from 2023.
Oh.
But why don't you go first?
Okay. The acting and directing are actually fucking great. But the writing, nearly every character is unlikable and or insufferable. Neon lighting, I'm so glad this aesthetic has mostly run its course. An overwhelming soundtrack, not one single scene is allowed to speak for itself, completely outweigh the redeeming qualities this movie has for me. And then I followed up by basically nullifying everything I just said. Despite all of this, you absolutely cannot say that Joe Begos didn't make this for all the right, not right, W-R-I-T-E, reasons, and pour his heart into this. And for that, he still deserves praise for this, even if it isn't your or my cup of tea. That, to me, sums up this movie perfectly. It's... He did. He put his fucking heart into this, man. He really did. And me, I felt myself hating it, but then I went and watched or read interviews with Joe Begos, and I went, dude, this motherfucker loves horror. He loves film. And guess what? I didn't make it. I didn't have a casting call at 6 a.m. I didn't I didn't have any input on this. He made the movie he wanted to make, and despite all of the elements that don't work, all of the elements that work almost flawlessly. And for that, I actually changed my review. You know what? This one doesn't feel fair. I gave it a 5 out of 10. I'm going to up that to a 6 out of 10.
I'm a little bit surprised by that. Considering how much you've been telling me over the last few days, like, I hate you for making me watch this.
I do. I'll never watch this movie again. But I am. This is one of the few movies we've watched where I can feel the creative passion coming through the screen.
Yeah.
You can feel it. You really can. If I'm rating this on just a regular layman moviegoer, as in like I watched this is how the movie as it is made me feel. Absolutely. I'm giving it a 4 or a 5 out of 10. However,
yeah,
if I look at this through the lens of somebody who has, I've worked on movies that went over budget and never asked for a dime because I loved the filmmaking process. I can feel him loving filmmaking through this. And as a completely subjective reviewer, 6 out of 10. It's gotta be. You can't go lower, man. Like the dude that Jeff Bezos, Joe Begos, if you ever see this, I didn't like your movie, but I am so all for what you are doing.
all right, so this is my review from 2020.
Oh no.
From 2022.
Your long pauses have more of an impact on me than I think you think they do, because when you long pause, I know the context and I go, oh no, or I go, uh-huh.
Well, I remember I watched this after Christmas, so it was actually technically 2023 the first time I watched this. So I titled it "Fucking Fuck You Fucks, I'm Super Late to the Party." When you put Jonah Ray in a movie, I know you've kind of got your shit together. I absolutely love the premise of this, and damn is it fun. Despite feeling like these actors have never actually listened to any of these bands they're talking about, this is a pretty good fucking time. The camera work is surprisingly fucking terrible in some spots and awesome as fuck in others, but consistently darker, way darker than it probably should be. The POV stuff is cool, but it's hard to tell what's actually happening. The Blumhouse hate is commendable, and all the horror references are cool. The music is good, although super overused. All in all, this was a really good time. The kills are good, the effects work well enough, and the script has so many fucks in it, it's hard to fucking hate it. Despite having pretty terrible dialogue, which just comes off as lazy, this was strangely intense for a Killer Santa Claus movie. I ended up enjoying this far more than I expected to, but Santa dies one too many times, if you ask me. After the third or fourth time he's down, I started to get bored with it and felt like they didn't know where to go other than Santa chases girl. And that is pretty much how I still feel about this movie. I've seen it three times now. I think it's
good. Yeah.
I've seen it 3 times. I'm going to rate this the exact same way I rated it after the first time I saw it. This is a 6 out of 10 movie. This is well made enough that you can't rate it anything lower than a 5, I think, if you like actually enjoy the craft of horror movies and just decent slashers. This has awesome fucking moments in it. Dude, there are parts where he's crashing through walls and chasing people. Sure, it's lit all weirdly, but it's wonky. Beautiful. It's beautiful and it's crazy. And I love the premise. And all of that feeds into why I'm rating this a 6 out of 10. But I can't go higher than that because it's too long-winded in the front. He dies too many times in the back. The middle's okay. But all of it just feels like it's there just to pad the runtime long enough so that he could get it into festivals or on Shudder or whatever arbitrary thing he was trying to hit.
The motherfucker just wants to see his art in front of people.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, a passion for filmmaking is what raised this a full star for me.
And I'm going to say it again. This is the type of people we need making horror movies.
100%.
This is a dude that clearly loves horror. All of the craft that goes into making a horror movie, from the filmmaking all the way up to the practical effects. And it's just hard to hate this movie, even if you were not down with all the gore and bad dialogue. So,
do you know what I would still rather watch this more than?
Van Wilder.
Anything in the MCU universe.
Amen to that.
I would still rather watch this than any big budget superhero movie you put in front of me. And like, dude, if we were to do the Avengers or something else, I'm giving those a 4 out of 10 anytime. Simply because the passion isn't there. From what I can tell, from what I've heard from other people, the fucking source material isn't even there. But I haven't watched those. But my point is, I would rather have low budget movies made by people who have a passion for not just the filmmaking art, but the genre they're making it in, than any of these big budget turds being put in front of us, masking around as fucking blockbusters.
Look, and here's the other side of that. We're in a spot right now where you can't make money off movies like this. It's just not going to happen unless somebody like Shudder comes in and steps in and buys it or offers you money or however their deal worked. If you remember the Sacrifice Game from last year, do you remember that movie? It was about a little girl who was in a church. We did a review of it, and this cult was roaming around killing people on Christmas, and they came into a church, or it was like a church school or something. It was also a Shudder movie. We both really liked it. It was also a Christmas movie. Movies like that don't make money anymore. They are never going to get put in a theater. You are never going to be able to go to a multiplex and see films like this anymore. Except in places like AMC where they run old Friday the 13th and stuff like that. So it's important stuff like this is still made and distributed so that kids like we were at 13, 14, 15 years old see stuff like this. It sparks their imagination. And those are the guys that are making the next fucking Tarantino and or whatever. That is who these movies are for. That is the people that are making these movies may end up becoming. So that's why stuff like this is important.
Do you know, I have what I would assume, nobody's yelled at me yet, but what I would assume is a controversial take on the movie industry. And I would actually like to see every big budget movie flop. I would like to see the film industry cave in on itself from the just decades of cannibalization that it's doing to itself, because then all we're left with are these filmmakers.
That needs to happen to the video game industry as well. Just throwing that out there. It's all become way too bloated.
Not to get on a tangent, but dude, Expedition 33 is a great example of that. The amount of awards that game made from a bunch of I think either EA or Ubisoft employees And like, dude, if you really look at the process of them building their team, they built their team brick by brick, and they made this beautiful thing on a relatively on a single A budget, but they made a triple A game. And it's the same thing with the film industry, where the more it caves in on itself, the more we will make room for the people that are like, well, yeah, I would love to make 5 figures off of this movie, because that'll be enough to let me subsist, or that'll allow me to subsist long enough until I can create my next project. You should not be subsisting for your entire life off of one project, because then it's a business venture, not an artistic endeavor. And I am so fucking tired of the movie industry. I know it's been this way forever, but there was an age, particularly in the 80s or 90s, where the idea of a business venture being where movies were a hybrid of a business venture and an artistic endeavor.
Both. Yes, there used to be room for both, and now there is not, because movies like this don't make money.
No, because we took all the SEC rules and we let Disney buy up fucking everything, and now they're ruining everything because fuck you, Mickey Mouse. Sorry, I'm very upset about the state of the film industry right now.
I mean, they just agreed to $1 billion deal with OpenAI, so who the fuck? I'm not going to argue with you. All of this is a different podcast. So
start making movies on Handycam. Do that. Start making movies on Handycam. I will start. You know what? My busy season starts up next year. I will start funding movies that are only made on Handycam, so that Steven Soderbergh can take his iPhone and shove it up his ass.
Yeah, we both hated that one too. We reviewed that and didn't fucking put it out again. We did that a lot this year, where we reviewed movies.
Dude, that's a big part of January. A big part of January is going to be us not rebranding. We're not revamping. We are, like I said, we are creating a bigger foundation for this channel, because we need to. I genuinely feel like we owe it to the people that come and watch us on a regular basis. I don't want to put you on the spot and ask you how you feel about that, but I genuinely feel that to my core, that I love doing this. I love getting on camera with you, talking about movies as you yawn. And okay. I love doing this. I have fun doing this. And a big part of January is us creating a more robust, for lack of a better word, product to give to people. And if we expect people in the filmmaking industry to kind of get a fire up under their ass and bring us back to where we used to be as far as the love of filmmaking, I feel like you and I can get a fire under our ass and reignite the love of watching and talking about movies.
So all that is to say, we're sorry, Jeff Bezos, Joe Begos. Your name's too close to Jeff Bezos. I'm sorry. You need to change it. It's going to be a problem forever.
Change your name.
It's an issue. I don't know what. Maybe you could go from Jeffrey Bezos with Jiminy.
As long as it's not GEO Jeff, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a problem either way. So
GEO Jeff isn't real.
So, thank you guys so much for watching this. If you like this, hit the like button. If you really liked it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we got a lot more content like this on the channel. 2026 is going to be different from us, and hopefully we can make this a more regular thing. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time from the deep. Bye-bye.
Ta-ta.